Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the tutorial series for Substance Painter on how to creating a TrackMania skin. I'm your host, MCYC-Shadow, and today we're gonna take a look on how to create your Illum layers and how to work with them if you use a template. Alright, so we are still at the same project from last time, and we want to add some Illum layers. I personally like to disable the Illumination or the Emissive in this case on the base texture. You can, if you want, you can leave it there. It's just I think it doesn't give you a good preview if you use these pre-created emissive materials, because they have baked light in, which you can see here. If I go to skin, put on emissive light, this is just some reflecting light they baked in here from the wheels. And I'm like, personally, I say I don't want this. I want to make something new out of it, you know. Alright, so what we're gonna do here at skin, we're gonna create a new folder, and I'm gonna say this is base layer. First off, I'm gonna do some sorting right here. You could also just call this base layer, for example, and just keep it out of here. Wouldn't be any change that much. But what I'm gonna do is just name layers like you want. I'm gonna create a new folder, and in this new folder we're gonna create some layers basically. So let's create one. I'm gonna create a layer which is not a full layer, it's an empty layer right here. And the next thing is I'm gonna come here, change the layers to the emissive channel, so I have control now over the emissive channel right here. So this is a paint layer. If I would go in now and paint right here, it would paint because we didn't change to the emissive channel right here. So what we're gonna do now is just gonna activate the emissive channel right here so we can see the result, and now you can see we're painting some glow. Alright, to make this a little bit easier to use, I'm gonna click on this little wizard stick. I don't know what was the name for it. Oh my god, I don't know it. Whatever, I'm gonna click on the magic tool and click on paint. So now we create the paint layer, which is essentially non-destructive or to the original layer. So if I click on this right here and I'm gonna paint, you know, these are different paint layers right here, and yeah, so I can deactivate, activate, and I can delete it, and will still keep the different settings for this layer. So to set it all up, I'm gonna go to the text document, which is also in the archive for you, and I'm gonna check it on my second screen. So you have a lot of information right here on how to set it up. So we're gonna take the percentages and set these values to the different layers. So, but before that, we're gonna switch through different view modes. If you click here on this material drop down, you can see the different channels. So if I draw right here, you can see we got some red color because we're viewing right now just only the emissive channel. You can press M to go back to the full material, or you can even press C to switch through the different channels. We're gonna switch to the emissive tab right here. So what we're gonna set up is I'm gonna add a paint layer, and I'm gonna do a little test paint, and now I'm gonna add a filter. And for this filter, I just want it to act on the emissive, and I'm gonna select drop shadow. So now we have a little drop shadow, and we're gonna have to manually adjust this. So I'm gonna set this distance to 0. We're gonna set the opacity to 1. Color, of course, to black. I'm gonna have to do something on the spread a little bit. And now we wanna have the settings like having a black outline around our glow right here. So if you paint on your glow layer, by the way, what you have to keep in mind is don't use a smooth brush. The smooth brush already has opacity in here, so you can make this less opaque just by holding Control and moving your mouse up and down with right click enabled, or holding down right click and Control and then moving your mouse up and down. So now we have it on full hardness, full contrast, and I'm gonna paint this right here. You can see we have this black outline, but this is not enough. So I'm gonna adjust it a little bit to something like this. And now we have a black outline. This black outline is just there to keep us safe from any problems we might encounter when we are doing some so we don't get any outlines, basically, because this could happen. You could have some outlines around your emissive or Illum paint, and we don't want this. Alright, now we have set up this layer. We need to duplicate it. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different layers for light. We're gonna duplicate this. So this is layer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, we got these different layers now here. So many layers. We're gonna name them. So we have the namings right here. Gonna change this. Let's get to the first one. Get more space here to have a better view on this. I'm just gonna name this Self Illum Night. So this will be on at night. You can also say on at night. Could also be possible. This is the boost. This is the exhaust. Exhaust. Yeah, exhaust heat. Next up we have the turbo color. Turbo color. After that we have the front lights. Then we have the always on, the always on layer, always on, and it brakes heat, the energy, which I'm not sure how this is gonna be used. Currently I didn't see how, but well, maybe in the future we will know how the energy layer is going to be used. Alright, now we have named all of these layers. We're gonna change the opacity of them as according to the document right here, 100% and things like this. So first off, you have to switch back to the emissive layer in the layers window right here, or tap to emissive. And now we're gonna change the opacity of the emissive. So for this, we're gonna go click on here right there, and you can dial down or dial up the slider, or just click on here and then click on a number and put it in manually. So I'm gonna pull up the text file and I'm gonna set up the different layers. So we got boost on 88, exhaust heat on 75. We got the turbo color on 63. Then we got the front lights on 50. Next up we have the always on. On is the 38. 38%. Then we have the brake seat, which will be 25. Got the energy, which is at 12.5 bar, where we're gonna use 13. And on the brake slide, we're gonna use 1. All right. Illum layers. I'm gonna call this folder. If I collapse the folder and decollapse, you can see all these layers with the different names, and we have set up all the different opacity values right here. Alright, got the drop shadow set up. It's all good to go. And yeah, so let's see how we can copy this to the other texture set list. This is pretty easy. I'm gonna do a right click, copy layers, and now we go to details and just simply paste layers. And you could do this for all the different texture sets, because you can use the Illum or the Emissive on every of these materials / texture sets. There we go. Alright. Let's go to skin and check out how to use them. So you got these different channels or layers basically right here now, and you have on at night. If you want to paint on them, make sure that you have only emissive enabled right here, only emissive and the color you want. Also make sure that if you want to paint on them, click on the paint, not on the layer itself. Why? Because if you paint on the layer itself and you mess something up and you can't properly erase it, you would have to create this layer new, and using a paint sub layer essentially gives you the ability to just delete it and make a new one without any problems. Just drag it below the drop shadow and now you can start painting again. It also works with the symmetry. Alright. So, how are you gonna use this? So, for example, if I wanna paint some brake lights, you will have some problems seeing them, but you can see it. You can see the color, and so you get a kind of an idea of what you're doing. But what you could do is you could just dial up this intensity, so you have the glow and you get the visual feedback. After you've worked on it, you tone it back to the original value so that you know what you have done, or basically you don't export it accidentally with wrong settings. Alright, now you can see I did some kind of a mess. I'm just gonna erase this here, and yeah, if you use the eraser, you will notice that you won't probably get everything 100%. So as I said, just delete the paint layer and add a new one. This is how you use it. This is how you work with it. Alright. Down here, if you want to change your color, just do it. Also, what you need to know is don't cross different Illum layers. So if I have the brake heat layer right here, and I paint some white over there, I can't just come in and do some brake lights suddenly, because they will overlap them with different opacity values, you know. this wouldn't work pretty good. Very good, actually. So, don't do this. Don't cross them. Alright. So, in this series, or in this episode, you learned how to use your Illumination channels, or Emissive channels. And I hope you liked this tutorial. I will see you in the next time, when we take a look at how to use your brushes and the different settings, how to align them, and some other features you can do with your brushes. Alright, I will see you in the next time. Bye bye.